Massive apartment fire in southwest Missouri, and a fire crew in Jasper, Missouri hopes a tax increase on the ballot can keep them staffed. KOIM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, authorities charge a woman with arson after a massive fire destroys an apartment building in southwest Missouri. Plus, Joplin firefighters respond to one of their own after a medical emergency. And voters in Jasper, Missouri will soon decide on a tax increase to staff the fire protection district.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Prosecutors bring a charge of arson against a woman in connection with a massive apartment fire near Table Rock Lake. This is KOIM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Over the weekend, authorities arrested Angie Maywald, a resident at the apartment complex. She'll face a charge of first-degree felony arson and felony endangering the welfare of a child. Court documents allege Maywald set the fire that fully engulfed the apartment complex in Stone County, Missouri. Police officers say she took a child outside of the complex with her but ran into the woods alone. According to the state fire marshal, Maywald admitted to setting the fire that displaced 32 people and 19 families. Maywald is being held without bond. Now, many of those displaced families are staying in a hotel. But as Charmel O'Dell reports, the clock is ticking on how long and if that temporary shelter will last.
My hopes and dreams is to find another place in Kimberlin City.
Teresa Hicks has called Oak Apartments home for years,
today.
But that changed early Saturday morning when investigators say Maywald set the building on fire. In the chaos that followed, 19 families were forced from their rooms. And in an instant, Teresa lost the one place she thought she could always come home to.
I got important papers and my medicine and the clothes on my back and my dog.
Teresa is now staying at a nearby hotel as she waits to find out what's next.
So we have a place to spend the night, and they've been donating, I believe, to cover our motel expense until we find new housing.
We tried reaching the owners of Oak Apartments but haven't heard back. However, a statement from the Bradford Court Apartment Facebook page, also known as Oak Apartments, mentions officials will be meeting with Kimberlin City officials and insurance companies to learn more about the future of the facility. Teresa hasn't been given any word on when or if rebuilding will start or how long she'll be stuck in a hotel.
We're all alive, and that's the bottom line. But, we'd like some answers.
Now, if you'd like to donate to the displaced families of the Oak Apartments fire, check out the Facebook page of Unite Table Rock Lake for more information. We're learning a bit more about the medical emergency that put a Joplin firefighter in the hospital. It happened today during scheduled training exercises at the Joplin Public Safety Training Center. This is filed video of that center. While authorities are not releasing many details still, including the name of the firefighter, we do know it was a man who suffered a cardiac event. But they say fellow firefighters provided immediate assistance on the scene. At last report, the firefighter was in the hospital listed in critical but stable condition. In a late statement, Joplin Fire says he is recovering and doing well. The Jasper Fire Protection District is asking voters to approve a tax increase on April 8th. It would be the first tax rate increase for the district since 2015. If passed, the increase would raise the tax rate by 30 cents per $100 of assessed property valuation, bringing the total to about 59 cents per $100. Fire district staff say if approved, all funds from the increase would go to fund staffing, something a grant covered until the end of last year.
Our district cannot fund keeping anyone here in the daytime and covering everything, which means we'll start missing calls as medical calls, car wrecks, fires, and what have you. There just won't be anyone here a lot of times to respond to it.
The district responds to both Barton and Jasper counties, so voters in both counties will see this question on their ballots on April 8th. Absentee voting for the April 8th election is underway in Missouri, but voter turnout as a whole isn't expected to be high. Election leaders hope things will improve as more people come to accept this type of early voting as an option. But as Rob Macko reports, some voters say they never miss an election.
Jean Rudloff has plans on April 8th, so she decided to exercise her right to vote on the first day of no-excuse absentee voting. She always makes it a priority to vote.
This is probably more important than any national election, in my opinion, because these are the people who move up into office, and they're the ones who are going to be responsible for things in the future.
There are lots of things for voters to consider in the municipal election. They will pick city leaders, school board members, and vote on tax issues affecting schools and fire protection districts. Issues that affect your wallet, your kids' schools, and your hometown. Despite all that, turnout is usually not great.
We're anticipating somewhere between 13 to 15%. Hopefully we'll get higher. It's one of those things I'd love to be wrong in terms of prediction, but right now we're thinking between 13 to 15%.
Greene County Clerk Shane Scholler hopes having 2 weeks of no-excuse absentee voting will encourage voters to come out.
Sometimes people, they have a packed day from the beginning until the end, and sometimes even just trying to drop by to your local polling location can be a challenge. This really helps those voters.
These elections aren't as flashy as, say, the election for president, U.S. senator, or governor, but they affect people's lives on the local level.
They're going to be deciding on local issues for their local city, their schools, their fire protection districts, both candidates and issues on the ballot.
There are things going on you may not like, and if you're not out there voting to try and change that, you're missing the boat.
To stay on top of all local election coverage, simply scan this QR code. It'll take you right to the elections page of our website where you can see live vote updates from all active counties in our area and more. While there, sign up for our election coverage newsletter to make sure you get the latest election news sent straight to your email. All right, now let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be a great Tuesday for us today. Temperatures pretty good, a decent chunk above our average high, which is 63. 69 is where we topped out. 45 is where we started. Record of 88 on this date. All right, mainly 70s to near 80s as we go through the rest of the week. Few showers trying to work in Thursday morning. Some thunderstorms Saturday night into Sunday morning. Some of those could be a little bit on the stronger side. It's 55 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh. So it's chilly. It's not cold. Most of us into the mid-50s across the region. Had some clouds kind of skirting throughout a good chunk of the day. We'll drop back upper 40s, but should go into the mid-70s for highs on Wednesday. We're going to look at that next storm system for you here in just a bit.
In a few, an unsealed federal grand jury indictment reveals charges against an Oklahoma man accused of dogfighting violations. LaShawn Eugene Johnson of Broken Arrow is charged with possessing 190 pit bull type dogs for use in animal fighting. Authorities have also charged Johnson with selling, transporting, and delivering a dog for use in animal fighting. Authorities go on to say they believe this is the largest number of dogs ever seized from a single person in a federal dogfighting case. If convicted, Johnson faces a maximum penalty on each count of 5 years in prison and $250,000 in fines. Freeman Business Center in Joplin set the table for some healthy eating tips on this Diabetes Awareness Day. That story is coming up. And some area science students make their way to MSSU for the annual Regional Science Fair.
This is a 24/7 kind of
12/20/25.
The Oklahoma Health Department confirms 7 of 9 reported cases of measles in the other state. These cases were confirmed among unvaccinated individuals in northeastern Oklahoma. Health officials also say all cases are linked through exposures to household or extended family, and initial cases reported exposure to the measles outbreak in West Texas and New Mexico. They say no cases have resulted from exposure to public settings at this time. Diabetes awareness was the focus of a gathering at Joplin's Freeman Business Center today. The Freeman Diabetes Coordinator presented information about how to cook for 1 or 2 people. She also gave Freeman Advantage members tips for healthier meal planning and making good choices when grocery shopping.
Best choices at the grocery store, looking at
carbohydrates, fats and proteins, but kind of focusing on aisle by aisle. What's the better choices in dairy? What's the better choices in the produce? What's the better choices if we have to buy canned goods?
This presentation was in recognition of Diabetes Alert Day and National Kidney Month. Missouri Southern hosts its 36th annual Regional Science Fair. That fair consisted of middle and high school students from more than 16 counties in Missouri and Kansas. KOAM's Lonnie Walton takes us there to get all the action.
Well, microplastics are a really big issue just in the whole world in general right now.
Ty Madison is a senior at Joplin High School. He's a science lover and joined this science fair competition to help educate people on the dangers of microplastics.
In the Joplin area, for sure, right now there's a really big issue with them because there isn't necessarily data that tells us how many microplastics are in our waterways.
He's not the only one dealing with microplastics. Middle school Ancy often says she talks about them too. And like Ty, she says they're no good.
Did pothos propagation and plastic bottles versus glass jars. Plastic bottles can contain microplastics and nanoplastics that have harmful heavy metals and chemicals in them.
And high school senior Maya Craven has her own specialty, but we'll let her tell you what that is.
What I did was I evaluated sheep wool pellets as a sustainable alternative for water conservation and drought-prone areas.
And how did she do that?
I separated 72 individual plant pots into 3 groups. One had 0% sheep wool pellets implemented into that soil. Group 2 had about 5% and Group 3 had about 10%.
Both Maya and Ty had to give 12-minute talks to judges that they hope would allow them to enter a state competition at the University of Central Missouri. Maya says she's having a blast.
I learned a lot of things that I didn't think I was going to learn.
And for Ty, although there's no cure for microplastics, bringing awareness to it is just as important to him.
Hard thing because microplastics can be this tiny thing that you can barely detect.
And Ansley says she's saving all her learning for one thing.
I want to be a vet when I'm older.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The winner of the fair received medals and cash prizes. The grand prize winner will have an opportunity to participate in an international science and engineering fair. That's going to be in May. A little bit later, we're going to hear from some students fired up for Pitt State's women's basketball team and their trip to the Final Four.
Plus, temperatures staying nice as we go through the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. Temperatures pretty good. Most of us right around 70 degrees. We had partly sunny skies, had a couple little sprinkles out there. Great shot of our indigo sky. Casino and resort to Indigo. Looking pretty good right now. We have a few clouds kind of skirting through the area. Besides that, pretty calm for us as we go through the evening hours. Kind of chilly. We have dropped back 51 in Chanute, 54 in Miami, 58 in Anderson. Lamar is sitting at 55 degrees. Here's 7th and Rangeline sitting at 55. I think eventually we'll slide back 48, 49 degrees a little bit later on tonight. Had some clouds kind of rotate through. Earlier today, even had a couple little sprinkles, quick little shower that pushed through. Overall, it wasn't a big deal. A big ridge of high pressure out to the west. We have a storm system kind of splitting. One to the Pacific Northwest, another little chunk will move under this ridge and give us at least a chance to get a few showers by Thursday morning. All right, let's go through time. We're going to stop at about 6:30 in the morning, upper 40s to near 50. As we go through the morning hours, we warm to near 70 by the noon hour, partly cloudy skies during the afternoon. I think most of us 73, 74, 75 degrees. So overall, Wednesday is looking pretty good. Warm front starts to shift in as we get into Thursday morning. With this front, we could see some clouds and a couple random little showers or thunderstorms kind of pushing east into the region Thursday morning. Not really affecting a ton of us, maybe 20, 30, 40% of us will get a little bit of rain. Once those pass through, we get southerly winds, we get partly sunny skies, and our temperatures should warm to right around 80 in most locations. So looking pretty good Thursday afternoon. Thunderstorms to our north Thursday night, and then starting out Friday pretty good. Temperatures right around 60 degrees. All right, day planner on your Wednesday, 47 in the morning, 67 by noon. High temp, 74 during the afternoon. Let's move into the weekend. We do have thunderstorm threat. This looks like for us mainly a late night Saturday thing into Sunday. I think the better chance for severe weather, southeastern Missouri back toward Jonesboro and Little Rock. We're kind of right on the edge, kind of right on the bubble. If we can get some thunderstorms developing after midnight Saturday night, we could get a few stronger ones in here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. A few showers kind of skirt to our south on Friday. Saturday overall looks good. It's going to be mild, it's going to be windy, but after midnight, a few thunderstorms will try to develop right on top of us into Sunday morning, and then severe weather gets moving off to our east, and then we start to cool down behind this system for early next week. 74 tomorrow, 80 on Thursday, 73 Friday, 81 on Saturday, down to 69 on Sunday, so a little bit cooler. Really, temperature is kind of all over the place, but at least the rest of this week shaping up pretty good.
Yeah, I see a high 80 and a little bit more, and a low down at 30.
Yeah, not too bad.
I guess. Thanks, Doug. Pitt State, kind of hot right now, has a fever, in fact, and the only cure is a championship from the women's basketball team. The team beat Lubbock Christian in last night's Elite Eight matchup in the NCAA tournament in Pennsylvania, and the hot streak has student body fired up for more.
I love to watch them play. They work as a team. They are one. It's like a machine. Without one of the members, they don't work that well. But with all of them on the court, they do very good.
It's really awesome. Love being a gorilla, it's just really good to see them playing, and when we're down and then the school spirit is so crazy in the gym, I really like it. And shout out to them for real.
Yeah, well said. Up next for Pitt State, it's going to be a matchup against Grand Valley State in the Final Four tomorrow night. Still ahead, a Frontenac Raiders sons to play softball at NEO, and Colgan High School baseball travels to Joplin for its season opener. John Dales has those stories and more up next in sports.
Say big with an 11. It's because he loves you. Hey, Bentley and I love you too. And say bye, Bentley. We pray that you have a great day.
High school softball and baseball season, both of them are just getting underway here in the 4 states, and the Frontenac High School softball team is the defending 3A state champion. Now, one of the players that helped lead the Raiders to that state title commits to play college softball this afternoon. Frontenac High School senior Avery Johnson signs her letter of intent this afternoon to continue her softball career at NEO. Johnson threw 2 separate shutouts as a pitcher for the Raiders in the state tournament last spring. The first one was against Trinity Academy in the semifinals, then later that same day against Silver Lake in the state championship game.
It just felt like home when I first went on a visit there, and I liked everything about it. I love the coaches, I love the area, and I just felt like it was a good fit for me. They're like a family, and I wouldn't be able to do it without them. They're always so encouraging, and they've just helped push me through everything I've gone through.
At the start of the baseball season at the high school level, a lot of times we get some matchups between teams that normally wouldn't face each other from different states. That's exactly the case this afternoon over in Joplin. As Colgan baseball travels across state lines for its season opener, Panthers are taking on Joplin, who's 0-3, looking for its first win. David Bend with the start on the mound for the Eagles. He's humming early. Top of the first, he strikes out the first batter he sees, and then the same with the second. Bend keeps the Panthers scoreless in the first. This game quickly would turn into a pitcher's duel. Colgan starter Brady Van Beesler gets a foul-tip strikeout to end the first. We go to the top of the third, still scoreless. Lane Stoltz puts a good swing on this ball. That's going to drop down and get away from the center fielder, but the Eagles catch him trying to stretch a single into a double. He's called out at second. Joplin's bats would heat up in the later innings. The Eagles score 4 runs in the 6th. They take down Colgan 6-1. And just last night, Pittsburgh State women's basketball advanced to the Final Four. At the same time, Gorilla fans also get some very exciting news for the men's team. That's because Mason English announces late on Monday night he's committing to Pittsburgh State. English was a first-team All-State honoree in his senior year at Pittsburgh High School. That was in 2024. After graduating from PHS, English opted to attend Link Academy in Branson, Missouri for 1 year. That is one of the top basketball prep schools in the country. Now, English is also following in his older brother's footsteps. Marquis English played for the Gorilla men's basketball team for 2 seasons before graduating last spring. And closing things out with a look at pro basketball, we're coming down the stretch of the regular season in the NBA. Tonight, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're out on the West Coast, taking on the Kings. Late start. This one tipped off at 9 o'clock. And as we come on the air, OKC with a 22-point lead at halftime. The score is 64-42. A win tonight would give the Thunder 60 victories on the season. And 60 wins in an 82-game season. The Thunder have only done that once since they moved to Oklahoma City.
Wow, they are well on their way. Obviously, have a substantial lead at halftime.
Definitely.
We'll be right back.
Don't miss Ashley's 48-hour super sale. Friday and Saturday, discover incredible deals with 25% off store-wide. Or get 0% interest for 60 months with no money out of pocket today. And with our price match guarantee, you know you're getting the best.
Might have seen this Pittsburgh landmark getting a bath of sorts today. Crews at the Best Hotel treated the nearly 100-year-old building to an exterior cleaning, kind of a spring cleaning. The landmark is undergoing renovation as part of the Gorilla Rising project. It's getting spruced up.
Yeah, as we looked earlier, one of our taller buildings in the four-state area.
Yeah, probably the tallest in Crawford County anyway.
For sure.
Not
yes.
many in the viewing area.
No.
Taller than that 14-story building. The weather looking pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Temperatures pretty good on Wednesday, 74. Up to 80 on Thursday. A few morning showers and thunderstorms, non-severe. Some more thunderstorms Saturday night.
Final sports note.
Tomorrow evening, the Pitt State women take on Grand Valley State in the Final Four. If they win, they'll play in the national championship game on Friday.
Let's go Gorillas.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting for everybody. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.